Today we're drawing the April and May birth flowers. I'll show you step by step how to illustrate sweet peas and lily of the valley, and our video today is sponsored by the Great Courses. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and in today's drawing tutorial I have paired up lily of the valley and sweet peas. They're both tiny and delicate, so I think they're a good match. And what I want to do is start with the lily of the valley. We'll sketch 1 or 2 lines for the stems, vertical lines with a slight curve. And then the blooms are these little bell shapes, these little semicircles, and they have a tiny little stem that comes off the branch, more curved lines. So I'm sketching everything in pencil to sort of give me a guideline, and then I'll start going over it in pen. And when I go over it in pen, that's when I start adding some details to these little blossoms, like the scalloped edge along the bottom. And I think it's that scalloped edge that really makes it look like the lily of the valley, and all these little curved lines, really fun and simple to draw. I think this one is. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm working in my sketchbook and I'm just doing a practice sketch because I've never drawn. This is my first time drawing lily of the valley. So I've just got sort of half a page here and I'm just kind of trying it out. And my initial reaction sort of to this sketch is that it looks quite doodly. There is something so simplistic about these funny little bell-shaped blossoms with their scalloped edges along the bottom. And I think, okay, there we go. That's how I draw lily of the valley. We can add some big leaves. They have these big oval-shaped leaves, so we'll add that again, going in pencil first, and then I go over it in pencil so that I have my guideline. Even my guideline for the line shading is already sort of there if I do it in pencil, and that way I'm not going to get broken lines and funny bits. But yeah, this is just my first attempt at drawing lily of the valley, and my initial reaction is that it maybe looks a little bit like a doodle because of the shape of those blossoms. It's like you can't take it seriously. They're too cute. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll erase that. So that's the first doodle. And then what I thought I would do is attempt it again in a different style. And that's something we can always do with our artwork. Flip to a fresh page, and I wanna create a bouquet of lily of the valley and try my best to make it a little more sophisticated, because that's just kind of my style. So by adding a little more line shading, maybe not putting as many of those scalloped edges on the blossoms, I wanna draw this more in my own style. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. I'm just gonna speed it up and let you have a look at sort of my process. And while I'm working on the lily of the valley, I want to take a second and thank the Great Courses for sponsoring our tutorial today. So you guys have heard me talk about the Great Courses Plus in the past. Well, today's video is sponsored by the Great Courses, and they have a single course that is on sale that I wanted to tell you guys about. And the course is an intro on how to paint. I found the course to be really comprehensive. The instructor, he goes through brushwork and color theory and a couple different mediums. I've been doing a lot more acrylic painting at home lately, and so it was nice to brush up on that and listen to his take on it. And you'll likely be seeing an acrylic project on the channel this May. Right now, you guys can get 85% off this course. Just check out the link in the video description and download how to paint for only $49.95, which is nearly $200 off the full price. So check the link in the video description below or visit thegreatcourses.com/Shayda Campbell. I'll finish my lily of the valley sketch by labeling it. I really like the way it looks in the bouquet. It's just a little less of a cartoonish doodle, and it's getting more towards the style of floral illustration that I like to do. But you might really like that doodly style, right? So it's all about practicing and trying and experimenting. Now let's move on, and we're gonna talk about the sweet pea, the April birth flower. The sweet pea also just has these funny, very delicate blossoms. When I was looking at pictures on Google, they almost look like tissue paper. So that one I have done the practice sketch, which is what you saw. And now we'll move through the step by step. And I start with 2 stems that meet as one. sort of like a Y shape. And then you're just going to start drawing in pencil. These, again, the blossoms are sort of semicircles, but they're very jagged and ruffly, and you know, the lines are all over the place, and you can kind of just sketch them out and move your pencil this way and that, and I think you'll get that little ruffly jagged edge. We can put a few small round leaves. And that's basically your sweet pea. Now, of course, we'll go over it in pen and we'll start adding all of our details. So I'm going to make the anything that would be green, the stems, the leaves, the sepals at the base of the blossom, that's all going to be a little bit darker. So that's what I'm doing here, is just adding a little dark V shape, I guess you could say, at the base of each flower, and just carefully going over all the branches and stems, trying to keep them smooth. And this is looking good. It's all coming together. And then what I want to do is add a little more detail to each of those sepals, those petals at the base of the flower. I'll make them look a little more like leaves. So I'll add either 2 or 3 leaves, and they can sort of go off to the right and the left, and I'll get close here so you can really see, but very simple, just kind of playing around with those shapes and making sure they look, you know, nice, but not perfect. It is a flower. And then I'll start doing these petals, and these petals, like they just are they look so light. I wasn't sure when I looked at photos of sweet peas, because I wasn't that familiar with them. I wasn't sure how I wanted to illustrate them. I guess, I don't know, because they're so delicate, they could look complicated, but I simplified, and we're just doing these layered petals and just very rough lines. When you're drawing the petals, you can always get the pencil back out and, you know, do it in pencil first. What I've drawn is really just a guide, and then I'm kind of perfecting the petal shape in pen. But if you want to do that bit in pencil, go for it. It never hurts to do it in pencil first. And yeah, these are simplified sweet peas, but I think by using lines that aren't quite straight and just kind of maneuvering the pen in a way that makes the line a little crooked, that we've captured that look of those very, very light, floppy, delicate petals. And I'm just adding a little bit of line shading to make these blossoms pop. And then what we'll do is get rid of all of our pencil marks, because I tend to have a lot. Now that I can really see what that sweet pea looks like, I'll go back in and add a touch more line shading, just giving them a little bit of shading around the base. And then I like to do a few short lines at the top of the petal as well. And then for the leaves, I'll color them in darker, but I'll just do it with lines. This is something I come back to a lot in these floral illustration videos. It can look a little heavy-handed if you just color something in black. If you're working in black ink, lines are such a nice way to add that shading, but have it look a little more sophisticated, I guess, and it's easier. It's easier on your hand. I'll give this one a label as well. These are just little sketchbook illustrations, but it's always fun to do a little cursive label on these pieces, and it kind of finishes the artwork. So that's the sweet pea and the lily of the valley. I really hope after today's video that you feel like you can draw the April and May birth flowers. I didn't even know there was birth flowers. This is something I just found out about. If you're interested in seeing more of them for June and July, let me know, comment below. The list of them is a little North American, I think, but whatever, it's just an excuse to draw more pretty flowers, starting with the sweet pea and the lily of the valley. Thanks for watching today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and I will see you soon with a new tutorial.